Just take it.
Bees are dying, and our survival depends on them. That's why 4RBs created the Pure Wave Cell, a breakthrough quantum device proven to help hives thrive, doubling colonies and boosting honey production naturally. Every jar of our Pure Wave honey fuels this mission, supporting beekeepers worldwide. Visit 4RBs.com. That's the number 4RBs.com, and use code WITF for 20% off. Save the bees. Save us all!
Where in the Folk is not and should not be viewed as a news source. Any names, places, or likenesses mentioned are purely fictional, and any information discussed is purely speculative. Guest opinions are their own and do not reflect those of anyone else. Where in the Folk is not responsible for content accuracy of any stories that are told or what people do with these stories. This show is vulgar, sometimes graphic, and due to its content, it should not be viewed by anyone actually.
Welcome to another episode of Where in the Folk. I hope everybody's had a great week, and thank you for joining Steven and myself. Morgana and Tully will be returning someday soon. Let's see. So, how you doing, Steven?
Yep. Oh man, I'm glad it's Friday. Finally Friday.
Oh yeah, Friday. So, what do you think about the Artemis or 11 or whatever they're calling it that just launched into space?
Fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll have better footage than India did whenever they landed their probe on it.
One of the first things I seen from their little trip where they have to circle the Earth for 24 hours before they can make their trip to the moon. I thought that a 24-hour circle just put you back in the same spot you was in the day before, but I could be wrong. The first image was see, the Earth's not flat.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the fact that
I never did take geometry, so
and the fact that they launched on April Fool's Day, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's that seems like that had to be on purpose. You know, that they would do it on that day.
Oh yeah.
With a lot of things like that, I certainly don't believe there are no coincidences, or that somebody it didn't dawn on somebody, hey, let's delay this one day, or let's go one day earlier. Let's not do it on April Fool's Day. Oh no, let's go on April Fool's Day. So that's
full bunch of Aprils. But anyway, tonight we're going to delve into a cryptid heavy episode. So I'm ready to get started wherever you want to get started.
I don't know, but I guess the most recent thing is the Mothman sightings. You know, it's the Mothman sightings. You know, was it? I know we've talked about Mothman before. You know, was it just part of the government conspiracy where they were working on the people being able to fly around with the jetpacks and things like that, working on wingsuits or anything else? And was that the reason why the MIBs would show up in Point Pleasant, West Virginia? And, you know, I don't know. I'm just more and more convinced no matter what the subject is, there's always going to be a naysayer. There's always going to be somebody who has something negative to say about it, or to say that it's not real, not right. Hey, Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie. To me, I mean, I've been to Point Pleasant a couple times now. It's a town. I wasn't too impressed by the museum or anything. We rode out to where everybody's seen the Mothman. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see him. We rode out by the dynamite bunkers and things like that. I think it's totally talks about this theory all the time. I could be wrong, but if it's him, he said, well, I don't want to say he said because I don't know if it's him. Apparently, some people think that it is a mech suit, but it's people from the future, and the atmosphere is so bad in the future that so frail when they come back, they have to wear that suit to live.
Yeah, and that's an interesting theory too. It's interesting. We were trying to pull up a video before we started. Of a guy in Chicago, Illinois, and and he captured footage on a GoPro. But I think the only way we could show that video was for us to probably end up getting in trouble. So we didn't. Hey, Crystal.
Hey, Crystal.
Yeah, it's Kelly Haneda, I think. If I hope I'm not messing his last name up too bad. But anyway, he's the guy who captured some GoPro footage of something like that in Chicago. And I didn't. So
yeah. I tried to find a video, but it's behind a paywall. So I can't get to it. That's the reason we get in trouble, because I could totally log into my subscription to that particular thing and watch it, but I don't think we're allowed to do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
The business. Hey, Linda. But when it comes to Mothman, he's one of the more traditional and well-known ones because of movies and things like this. Right. Talking to people, like when we went to Point Pleasant, we've been 3 times, I think, and 2 times it was completely out of season. 1 time was during the festival. We spoke to a lady that's lived there her whole life and owns a little shop there, and she was telling us about how her sister claimed to have seen Mothman. So Point Pleasant sits right on the riverbanks of the Ohio River, right? And they have like little places where you can go down there and park. She said, my sister was down there, and her and her boyfriend was parked down there, and she came home all sweaty and scared and stuff. And Mama said, what happened? She asked me 2 glowing red eyes. And she said she seen Mothman, but I tell you, I believe she was down there fooling around. I was like, that's probably what happened.
Yeah. It could have started out one thing, and it may have ended abruptly. So the glowing red eyes.
Yeah. But apparently there was places where they would go hang out down there next to the river, and people said they seen it down there after the bridge fell and stuff like that. She was real little when it fell. She's old. She's an elderly lady.
Yeah. But that's interesting. You're talking about, she was telling about how her sister was down there with her boyfriend, at the river, and they were parking.
Yeah.
And they have had that sighting. That reminded me of a story of a guy I know from east of me there, and he was I'll just say he was in the diamond mine area. He was with his girlfriend one night, and they were in a secluded area. And they were interrupted by something that put its foot on the bumper of the truck and shook the whole truck.
Oh wow. Yeah, that'd be scary. I'd be terrified of that.
He said he could see toe marks on the bumper of the truck.
Really?
It's like, oh wow. That would have been
that's a big boy.
Yeah, if you just used 1 foot, just imagine how big it was.
My number 1 focus is, do you finish or do you leave? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I would leave.
I'm mission oriented most of the time, I think.
Yeah. I hear you, Linda. That would be a lot of people's first thought. Oh no.
Yeah. But if this is your first time tuning in, go ahead and like and subscribe to us. We'll do whatever people ask you to do. I mean, it's amazing how many of these little love stories turn into something crazy happening. That's true. I've heard a few like that. Not about somebody stepping on their bumper, but other things. And you got some stuff. So since this is Quickie Crypties episode, I'm going to go into a little cryptid territory. I tried to find cryptids that not everybody has heard of, and it was very difficult. But I found one I think people may be a little surprised to hear. This sighting took place in the 1200s during the reign of Alexander III of Scotland. There was a royal wedding feast was in full swing, music, dancing, nobility packed shoulder to shoulder in celebration. And right in the middle of it, a guest arrived. At first, it was just confusion, then discomfort, then all out horror. Because the guest wasn't just underdressed, he was completely naked. But that wasn't even the strangest part. As he stepped into the light, bones clattering softly with each movement, it became clear he hadn't just forgot his clothes, he'd forgotten to wear his flesh. So apparently the skeleton walked straight into this party or whatever. And a living skeleton stood among them, and without a word, it began to dance, rattling, twisting, cutting a perfect step in the middle of the stunned crowd, like it belonged there. No one knew where it came from. No one knew where it went. But long after the music stopped, they remembered the sound of those bones. Have you ever heard of a bone cryptid?
No.
There's actually a bunch of them in antiquity. One of the most recent ones I could find, which is the 1600s, there was a woman that was attacked by a bone creature in her home, or whatever. And when everybody rushed in to see what was going on, she was laying in a pool of her own blood, and they seen it jump out the window. So they took after it, but it ran impossibly fast and got away, and they never seen it again.
Really?
Yeah,
that's crazy right there.
Yeah.
Because that's long before computers or anything like that, you know. And for that to be passed on as a true story, come down in folklore, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like that one. I was going to do the Battle of Ape Canyon, but we did a whole episode of Battle of Ape Canyon when we first started this.
Yeah.
So go check that out.
And there's been a researcher up there who's pretty much identified the spot where the cabin stood. So
really,
yes.
If you don't know the backstory, it's essentially these guys went up there. Were they hunting or were they mining? I can't remember.
They went up there to mine.
Yeah.
And mining for gold, I believe. And that's when they had this encounter with these giant creatures that were throwing rocks from the canyon walls down at them and on in toward their cabin, you know. And I believe that they thought that they'd actually shot one through one of the cracks through the cabin, you know, that was there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they pretty much abandoned all of that after that incident.
Yeah. And that happened out west. Yes. I've already forgot the state and everything, but it supposedly happened where that glacier runoff happened. I guess that's Wyoming, maybe. I can't remember.
I think Ape Canyon actually happened in Washington State.
Washington, one of those W's.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's we also had around here locally. It's the Siege of Honabi, which I've met the guy who experienced all of that. I met one of the brothers, you know, and that was a lot of people have. Of course, I mean, people have different opinions about it. I'll say this. I sat across from a picnic table with this man, and he was looking me in the eye whenever he was telling me the stories about that right there. And it got really, really intense to the point that Mike's wife moved away from there. She refused to stay there any longer until they dealt with the problem that they had there at Honabi, which was the Bigfoot. It was different things would go on, And he said one of the things that he would do is he would put deer legs in his dog pen for the dogs that he had. And he told me there one time, he said he got to counting deer legs. He had more deer legs in the dog pen than what he'd put in there. so some extra deer legs were showing up. But he said it was nothing, man. Said you could be sitting in there watching television at night, and he had the way he described it, he had a pretty good sized window. And he said you might just look out the window, and one of them might be looking through the window watching TV with you or watching you. So it's but yeah, that got really intense. And one of the really interesting stories they told me, he told me a lot. Told me a lot about it. He said they had a trailer that they put trash in. Said it had a 10-foot wall on the side of the trailer. He said he looked out there one day and he could see the top of one's head up above that 10-foot wall. So he grabbed his gun and he was going to take care of that one. He said, I can't repeat it the exact way that he told me. The exact way he told me, which was a way to get your attention.
Yeah.
He told me, he said he was walking out there and he said he stepped on a stick and he broke the stick. And when he did that, he said it stuck its head out the end of that trailer or whatever. And he said those eyes were that big around. He said it took off running on all fours out of that trailer, around it, and through the trees there across the yard. He said it was on all fours. He said it transitioned up on 2 feet. Said it was running so fast he couldn't hold a gun on it with open sights.
Really?
Yeah.
You gotta aim far ahead of it. You gotta lead it now. I don't know what I would do. I know I've said it 100 times, but I got an idea of what I'd do. Whenever we was getting watered out, one day I started hearing sounds. I kind of just ignore it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's time to start rounding up. And then I ignore it, and then I get into my car, and then I drive off hastily.
Yeah.
But the first thing I do is, Mandy, get that 9mm out of the console there. But
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I like to think that I'd be brave in an instance where I ever seen something like that, but I know I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's yeah. But I'll tell you, I guess to sum it all up, or just leave a bunch of it out, with Mike and his brother, as he said, what finally worked to the point that he said he just got to where he would just ignore them. He said that they finally just, I guess they lost interest in him. Yeah, his niece had hey, Alan. But his niece, she got scared to death there one day, come through the gate, and they were there, surrounded her car. She was scared to death. But yeah, he said they had rocks thrown at them from over the top of the ridge where they couldn't see anything, but rocks were being launched from the other side of the ridge over there toward him and his brother. So it's the arm strength that they have is really impressive. I mean, just the strength in general it'll blow your mind.
Linda said, I bet you would if your wife was in danger. I'll get her to come in here and explain what I've told her before if something was like that was to happen. I'm like, do you think you can run faster than I can?
yeah, but buddy of mine in Texarkana, William, him and his wife and their son, they were out bigfooting one night down there close to Smith Park, and things kept getting a little more intense. And Cindy, she was in a truck, and I think she was in a truck, or she was right there by the driver's door or something. And anyway, Cindy told William and Reese that if y'all hear this truck crank up, you better jump in it because I'm leaving.
No, I'd stay behind for Mandy, but she's the type that would get me iced real fast. Like when I was telling you all the story about when we went down to the falls and we was the only people down there hearing hooping and hollering and stuff.
Yeah.
My instinct was, let's walk out of here. Mandy's instinct was to stop and go, what is that? What is that? I'm like, come on, keep going, keep going. She's like, no, what is that?
just keep moving, or you'll have to explain yourself someday to somebody.
Just keep on walking now. Come on now.
People gonna start looking at you with one eye, cocked to the side. You saw what?
Her curiosity would get the best of me, because if something was to happen, then I'd go down and then she'd start moving.
Yeah, while you're being torn limb from limb, she's going to live to tell the tale.
Yeah. I'll keep your name alive.
I tell people how brave you were and how dead you are.
I wish she'd walk in here. Usually when I start talking about her, she walks to the door. But let's do another one-hit wonder here.
Let's do it.
So now this one comes straight out of Africa, South Africa.
Mm.
It ain't just a strange story. It's one that got people scared enough to turn on their own in this town. Folks started whispering about a woman named Gloria Nathi, a widow, keeping to herself, raising her kids, but then rumors started. People swore they seen her husband Lazarus Maboko lingering around at night. Only little problem was Lazarus had been dead for some time. Now you may be thinking zombie, ghost, maybe something that just don't know it's gone yet. I would go to venture to say no. So there ain't really a correct way of saying this, but Lazarus came back a little wrong. He came back as a giant snake, too big. And where its head ought to be was a man's face, not just any face. It was Lazarus's face. And if that wasn't enough, they said it wore the same glasses that he wore in life. Now, story, yeah. Now, once a story like that gets loose, it's not long before it turns and grows some teeth. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we talked about before, in Africa, they still believe heavily in witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
So the automatic thought was Glory's a witch. You know what I mean? Yeah. So she had to pull her kids out of school and everything. And what's even weirder is she had started dating somebody, and her boyfriend went to the police and said he's seen her feeding Lazarus in her yard. So what happened next depends on who you ask. Some people say the police came out and took Lazarus and just confiscated him. What they did with him after that, who knows? What do you think about that?
I'm thinking that would have been the day when I found out that we were going to go arrest a snake, that I probably called it sick.
Big old snake, human face.
That's on my list of things not to do.
Oh yeah. A big old snake with a human face, we gotta go get him.
No, I'd be wanting to move to another country or something.
No, that one's big if true, you know, but that is something that was reported in South Africa. I forget the exact name of whatever they call it, the town or the proverb or what, I don't know. But that right there is a lesser known type of cryptid that we've seen, but that does seem to have some kind of reincarnation aspect to it. I wonder what would, going from the fact that this really happened, in my mind, what caused it to happen? You know what I mean? Like, how did it happen?
Yeah, you think that would be some kind of bad medicine or something that would have taken place to curse somebody like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
it's, uh,
Now, with that being said, I would love for that to happen to me if on the day that's time for me to go. I want to come back as a giant snake. That would be cool. Just slithering slithering about. So I guess we can get started on a more known. I don't even know if you would call these cryptids at this point. In my mind, they're real because in this particular book right here, if you guys are looking, this is a source edit for this is a good source for cryptid stuff. The cat named Barton Nunley wrote this. He's from Kentucky.
Oh yeah, Barton. Okay. I didn't realize who wrote the book. Barton Nunley. Yeah.
Yeah, he's wrote a few books about cryptids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So giant boneyards. This is this I've looked some of this up, and some of this I've actually heard of before. I actually started even reading about this, but throughout the country and the world, these huge bones have been found of giant humans. One of the first ones in here is in California in 1883, when the remains of a 12-foot man was unearthed by a group of soldiers in Lompoc Ranchero, California. And buried with him was his giant weapons and carved seashells. And the skull reportedly contained a double row of teeth, which we've heard that so much, right? That's pretty common.
Yep. Yes.
Let's see. There were some found in Nevada, the bones of a gigantic foot and forelegs. So this was just the calf and the foot was found in Nevada, Eureka, Nevada in July of 1877. From knee to ankle, it measured 39 inches from knee to ankle. That's a huge person, unless they just had really long legs and a short little bitty torso.
Yes. Yes. That's yeah, I guess we could tease a little bit about the guest that we have scheduled for not tomorrow night, but the following Saturday. It's a guy who's actually been out there in the cave in Lovelock, Nevada.
Really?
He actually has a picture of the skull that used to be on display. It no longer is. And the handprint that he actually found in the cave was erased. So
really,
yes.
Now that's awesome because I didn't even know that. I seen something about a guest. I was like, "Oh, cool."
It's
that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's hopefully nothing happens in between now and then, and everything will get to come to pass with that guest. But he's definitely a very interesting guy.
Oh,
those giant bones, which you're talking about. Yeah. 39 inches.
I'd be damned. how the world comes together.
There you go. I mean, you just triggered it. I mean, that's I like. We just feed off each other. So
Steven's like, I know he's going to talk about this tonight, so I'm going to get somebody that was there.
Oh man.
So in Arizona, a group of workmen accidentally discovered a giant stone coffin of granite. Now, there wasn't a body in this one, but there was definitely evidence that there was a 12-foot body there. And there was a carving of the body that was in there with 6 toes on each foot.
6 toes, 6 fingers, double rows of teeth.
Yep, always, ain't it?
Yeah, always. That's always a dead giveaway.
Now, I'm not going to go through all these, but there are a lot of them. And here's the thing. Here's even a picture of one. There's a skull, if you can see it, like right there. But there's so many different evidence, like key points of evidence across the world, a lot in the United States. And
Yes.
people still doubt that there were ever giants. And the thing that we
Yeah.
always hear about giants,
Honestly, with the giant bones and stuff like that, it seems as though
on each appendage, right?
yeah. You know, they're like we was talking about before. You know, they're naysayers with everything. It doesn't matter if it's giants, Bigfoot, cryptids in general. You pick a topic, and somebody's going to be saying no, no matter what the topic is. So,
complete audio. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. Yep. You sound good.
Uh-oh. I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll talk some more about giants then. Yeah. And,
can you hear me still?
I can still hear you. I can. Yep. Are you familiar with the giants?
I have to bounce, Stephen. I'm sorry to leave you for a second.
Okay.
1 second.
I guess we'll just sit here and look at each other now. This is bad. Yeah, off the coast of California on Catalina Island, they dug up a lot of the bones of giants. At one time, Wrigley actually owned the property, and the guy that they sent there, I believe his last name was DuPont. And the way that he went about it, he was digging, and it wasn't the most professional job in the world, the way that he was going about it. But it did produce a lot of results, and of course, what happened with most of that stuff is that it went to the Smithsonian. And as you can guess, what always happens to things that when they go to the Smithsonian?
Exactly. They always disappear.
They always disappear. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Was it Hadley that used to tell us a story about somebody that had a professor or somebody had a little bitty baby skull on their desk? Hadley from Weird Realities at Weird Realities Network. Mm-hmm. Hadley Thorne. She's an author as well. Go check out her books. You can get them on Amazon. But they had this little bitty skull on their desk, and it's like, oh, that's an infant skull. But somebody had came in there, and they's like, well, the teeth on this thing is mature. So this little bitty skull had mature teeth, and they sent it to a museum or somewhere to be studied. And they never got it back. And that's kind of what happens with all this stuff, isn't it? Just about every time. Mm-hmm. It's not cool.
Was that what was called the Star Child skull?
I don't know if that's the one. This was somebody that she knew.
Okay. All right. Well, Lloyd Pye, it was the Star Child skull was found in Mexico. Yeah. With I believe also with a human remains there as well. So that showed a connection there. And up until his death, I don't know where it may be now, Lloyd Pye was the caretaker of the Star Child skull. And he talked a lot about it. You know, it was even the DNA in the Star Child skull was I think a little bit different. I think maybe not. Genetic testing found standard human X and Y chromosomes, mitochondrial DNA, shown to be human. So some, saying it was simply just a deformed human child skull found in Mexico in the 30s. Of course, Lloyd Pye proposed it was a human alien hybrid or a gray alien, citing its strange shape and physical characteristics. The skull is roughly 1,600 centimeters in volume, much larger than the average adult brain, has no frontal sinuses, and is lighter and more durable than a normal human skull. So, I don't know. So once again, you got some people saying, well, it's just a deformed child with a strange skull. And then you had a guy like Lloyd Pye, who I think went to Tulane University. And he was saying that it was a human alien hybrid. So I don't know.
That's weird.
So, yeah.
I mean, if you look back through antiquity too, and they hide this quite well, but there's been so many different types of humanoid skulls found. Like they've had some that have little spikes going all around them. They have some that are elongated. They say they do that with head wraps.
Yeah.
They have all kinds. To me, I personally believe that there's been right now we believe that there's the Homo sapiens and there were the Neanderthals, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that there was way more.
Yeah. You also have the Denisovians or Denisovians. I don't know what the correct way is on that pronunciation. But there were actually quite a few different hominid type species on this planet at one time. So I don't know.
Oh, how many
were they all human?
Or the humanoid species on Earth? I bet they have updated. They have, yeah. They said there were 21 different humanoid species exist on Earth. I always heard 2. Huh?
No, there were a lot. You know, then you've got then you've got a lot of other stuff that's you know, that I don't know. Some scientists have tried to put in as missing links and things like that. But an interesting video if anybody wants to watch it. You know, I don't necessarily agree with every single word of the video, but Lloyd Pye, just look him up since I mentioned him earlier. Look up Lloyd Pye, Everything You Know Is Wrong, which is a really interesting video. Because most of the stuff that they have in there classified as a human or a humanoid or whatever, a lot of great apes or something like that. Did I go? Did I skip out on you?
Not bad.
Okay.
So I mean, we're the winners. That's what people like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people believe that out of all these different species of humanoids and like where we could have derived from and like branched off from through evolution, if you believe in that, that we're the ones that came out on top and there's no one left. I don't that doesn't make sense to me. Like oh no, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like that's probably where cryptids come from. You like in the grand scheme of things, that's probably the most logical thing for where cryptids come from.
Yeah. I mean, were they simply just another human, Homo sapien? You know, like we are. You know, I think we. Yeah, you know, they can move on all fours. They can move upright. They have I believe that they certainly have the ability to think and process information, things like that. It's, you know, they're not stupid.
No,
there'd be one in a zoo somewhere.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. One of my favorite cryptids of all time is the melon heads. Have you ever heard of the melon heads?
Just a little bit. I've never actually looked into it as a real serious thing, though.
We hardly ever talk about them. I don't know if we might have brought them up maybe twice in 5 or 6 years, however long we've been doing this. But these are set in Ohio and Michigan, up toward northern Ohio, Michigan. Tales are there are back roads in these parts, but people don't like to stop. Not because of anything you can prove, just stories about something living out in them trees. And they are called the melon heads. I personally believe that totally moonlights as one of these things because I mean, look, don't they kind of look like him? Now this picture shows them a little taller, you know what I mean? But they're small figures. They're about child size. But they're
Really?
wrong. Heads are big. Their heads are huge. They're swollen, oversized, like something didn't grow the way it was supposed to.
Yeah.
A lot of the stories say they were once children, patients in some kind of facility. Maybe experiments ran on them, mistreatment, or something else had went horribly wrong, and they end up in the woods. What people claim to see is what matters, though. Figures watching from the tree line, moving just out of reach of headlights, gone the second you focus on them. Some say they're aggressive. That'd be terrifying. A bobblehead chasing after you. And that's exactly what they'll do. They'll chase cars. They'll attack you if you get too close. But there are some people that say they just watch. They're just curious.
Yeah, but
So
that's interesting. It's it's just like we talked about the Star Child. Possibly being a human alien hybrid, and there are a lot of reports of the little gray aliens. Was this right here where they tried to upgrade the gray aliens, and all they got was just a bigger head?
big old head.
Oh man.
There's a wrestler that Mandy watches wrestling all the time, so now all my attention is starting to focus toward wrestling. There's a wrestler they called Bobblehead. His JD something. I can't remember his last name. I wonder if he's part of this group.
He could be. Bobblehead. Boy, I'm not sure that's the name I would want if I was a professional wrestler.
No, that's just what the crowd calls him because he's got a big old head. He uses it as a weapon too, like he headbutts people.
Yeah. The big giant head. It's yeah. Did you ever watch the sitcom Third Rock from the Sun?
Oh yeah, I loved it, man.
You had to salute the big giant head, in a certain way.
That's funny. But I mean, it's totally possible for things like that to live. That could be just a different form of human that's just travel out there chilling in the woods.
Yeah.
It's chilling out there in the woods.
Yeah. For the little bit that we don't know, I just wonder how overwhelming it would be if we figured out everything else.
Yeah. I mean, we're running out of like conspiracies at this point too. Everything's coming true. For years we talked about how the elites were doing horrible things, and guess what? That's true, but then the war kicked off, so that everybody's not talking about that no more.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, since this war is happening and everything's going up, check us out. We're going to the moon.
That's a brilliant analogy. Everything's going up, so we're going to send a rocket to the moon.
Yeah.
Everything's going up. Guess what, people? It's not going to change course anytime soon. Oh man.
And I don't know. Like it's getting crazy out there. I don't want to get off track, but that whole moon thing, I didn't even know they was wanting to go back to the moon until like I've been staying out of the news completely. And I went out with a couple of friends from work Wednesday night. It was a particularly stressful day, so we went out for drinks. And I looked up on the TV and there was a rocket launching it. It said to the moon. And I said, what the hell? I thought we lost that. Yeah.
Let's throw that from Jackie Gleason and the Honeymooners.
Yeah.
To the moon, Alice.
Boom, zoom, straight to the moon. I like to say that that's one of my things I like to do because I like for people to like get upset. So when me and Mandy's in the grocery store, she's like, "Can we get this?" I'm like, "Ooh, one of these days, boom, zoom, straight to the moon." only say it people around there.
Yeah.
But the man who smiles too much. You've probably heard of Indra Cold before. This was I don't know if you would consider him popular or not. Would you, Indra Cold?
I don't know.
Kind of. I guess it depends on where you sit. In 1966 in West Virginia, a man named Indra Cold was reported not as a creature, but as something that looked almost human. Almost. Witnesses claim claimed that he encountered a man steering near a parked vehicle late at night. And at first glance, nothing seemed wrong. But then the man smiled. Too wide of a smile, they said. And too fixed, like it wasn't connected to anything real. He didn't move right. He didn't react the way a person should. And when he spoke, it wasn't quite speech. It's more something pretending to be a speech.
Ooh.
Yeah, the name Indra Cold came from that encounter, and what followed was more reports of people seeing the man with the same unnatural grin, the same off presence, sometimes connected to lights in the sky, sometimes just there. Now, what makes this one different is how close it gets. This isn't something in the woods. It isn't something that can stand right in front of you and almost pass, but not quite. And sometimes that not quite is worse than any other obvious monster. Now, this one right here, the majority of Indra Cold sightings do have something to do with UFO sightings. Like there's usually generally UFO sightings in the area when that happened back then. Sorry. But I wonder, like, do you think it was just like the Men in Black thing, whereas alien that had a human suit on? You think?
Oh yeah, he was wearing the Edgar suit.
Yeah. One of my favorite lines I've ever heard in my life, and I still consider it one of the most badass lines ever. He said, "You don't matter. Pretty soon you're not even going to be matter." I always thought that was like a tough line that he says.
I think my favorite one's Doc Holliday in Tombstone.
Yeah, I'll be a huckleberry.
Oh, you can kiss.
I thought forever he said Huckleberry, but apparently he said Hucklebear.
Yeah,
like Paul Bear.
Paul Bear.
Yeah.
I'll be your Hucklebear.
Hucklebear. I love that.
Yeah,
I might watch that.
Yeah. So that right there, we're going to the moon. We've been told the alien. What was that? Was going on about the alien bases this week, last week? We got alien bases somewhere underwater or something. Is that what it was?
Yeah, there's alien bases underwater, which they've been pushing USOs for the last couple of years.
So is that right there? The cover story, just in case what Chris Bledsoe's been talking about for so long.
Yeah, exactly.
About all the orbs that are going to be coming up out of the ocean. Because of the missile exchanges between Iran and Israel.
That is an interesting thing that you're bringing up there. Let's see.
So is the government really expecting this to take place, or did they just put that out to cover their bases just in case it happens to happen?
So a rundown of this, Stephen actually sent this before the show as well. Chris Bledsoe is a cat that has seen UFOs. He's been visited by government. He's worked with them. He can apparently conjure a UFO out of the sky. Like there's video of him on this. And around the early 2010s, 2011, 2012, he made a prediction that some lady showed him a future scenario tied to escalating global conflict, specifically an Iran-Israel missile exchange. Now, this is not new. This was more than 10 years. Oh, God, it's more than 10 years ago.
About 10 years ago, at least.
Yeah.
that he
And
started talking.
And he said it would trigger a massive non-hostile intervention by thousands of orbs of luminous objects rising from oceans, including the Persian Gulf and Mediterranean, possibly others. The purpose of these accounts was to wake people up. And this is from 14 years ago, and at least. And he said it would happen in April of 2026 when what lines up Sphinx something?
Oh, yeah, the Regulus.
Yeah.
When Regulus comes into what is that orbit? Regulus, the bright heart constellation of Leo, normally appearing blue-white, rises on the eastern horizon just before dawn, appears red due to atmospheric effects when low on the horizon. At that moment, it aligns in the direct eastward gaze of the Great Sphinx of Giza.
Mm-hmm.
Marks the threshold of when new knowledge or a major shift in human awareness, consciousness enters the world, potentially related to reality, spirituality, non-human intelligence, NHI, UFOs, or an end to certain cycles of suffering, secrecy. Some interpret it as a spiritual awakening, a veil being lowered, or even Christ-like or positive, transformative event.
Mm-hmm. And Tully said in response
Let's
to
hope
that,
it's a positive event.
yeah, Tully said in response to that, supposedly that's this Sunday.
Mhm.
Or was he talking about the gas?
So,
I don't know. But
no, this what Chris Bledsoe was talking about, it's at the time, to give him at least some credit, whether this happened Sunday or not, I don't know. The way things are right now, if it did happen, would we even hear about it here in the States?
no, not at all. I mean, there's a lot of things happening in the world right now that we're not hearing about. I've disconnected. When I went to the gas station, I paid $45 to fill up a track. So I was like, yeah, I don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, it would be awesome if there was some kind of intervention, because with this intervention, he talks about kind of like a harmonious after effect, right? Like,
right. Where possibly there'll be a little more peace in the world. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if it'd be nice if we could get along with each other. That would
it'd be really cool.
Yeah.
It'd be so cool, man. Like if everybody just did their own thing, like you do you, I'll do me. We'll do it independently, or we'll do it together. Who cares? Like, let's go.
What is that? Live and let live.
Yeah. I mean, come on. But I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. But it sounds like a real setup to Project Bluebeam to me, in a way. Like it.
Yeah.
It almost sounds almost exactly like that in a way, but
right.
with a better outcome than Project Bluebeam would have. The bases on the bottom of the ocean, though. What about that guy in Florida that got abducted by dolphins and taken down to the bottom of the sea?
Yeah. He had water in his lungs that
he had
tested positive.
Yeah, he had some kind of algae in his lungs that you can only get from the bottom of the ocean. He was sober, and apparently there was a lot of FBI like presence in the area where he was found. After that, I think they're looking for Gerald. There was a lot of dolphins showing up, washing up on the beach that were not alive as well.
Really?
It sounds like Gerald got mad.
Yeah, man.
What if it's been dolphins this whole time? What if it's been dolphins this whole time, rising up from the ocean and flying through our air?
Wow, that'd be a thought, huh?
Non-human biologics, man.
Yeah, because dolphins are, they're multiple stories out there, about how people have claimed that dolphins have actually saved their life whenever they've been stranded or whatever in the ocean, or somebody had sharks around them. Dolphins chased the shark off.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. It's really interesting. Used to be the underwater berths where they would be in a dolphin tank, and that's not allowed anymore for whatever reason.
That guy, though, if I'm not badly mistaken, they're saying now that's fictional and originated as a satirical post. Of course.
Yeah.
But when it first happened, the guy got arrested. He was on the books for being crazy. He was actually supposed to be a architect or something, wasn't he?
Yes. Yeah, that's and that right there wasn't the movie The Abyss was based on something similar, something kind of like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to watch The Abyss again. It's been a long time. Long time coming.
Right.
But I'll finish off with we'll start the lead out with this.
All right.
This one sounds impossible, right? I totally get why people would think that this is not a cryptid or anything. And that's exactly why it stuck around for so long. Now, in medieval times, there were stories about a plant that grew in distant lands. What did it yield? Not fruit, not leaves, but it grew animals. Particularly, it grew sheep. Yeah, it's called the vegetable lamb of Tartary. The story goes that from the ground grew a stalk, like a stem or a vine, and attached to it was a living lamb, soft wool, real flesh. Connected to the earth, connected to the earth, it was rooted there. It can move a little, graze in a small circle, but it couldn't wander far because it was tied to the plant that birthed it. And once it ate all the grass within reach, it would die, unfortunately. So that's basically it. Is a plant that would grow animals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just because it could.
Just because it could. Why not? I mean, the animals have to come from somewhere. Yeah. There's so many new species. I bet that's where the pandas came from. A bamboo tree.
It makes you wonder though. Bamboo is their diet. Wow.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, pandas are pandas are a species that shouldn't exist.
Right.
They really are.
Yeah, they definitely get plenty of fiber in their diet.
Oh yeah. But I don't know. I've got a lot of books in there that I need to read through about cryptids and stuff. I probably got 70 or 80 books in there about cryptids, just weird cryptids. So we might need to start doing quickie crypty episodes more often, so I have a reason to own those books.
Yeah,
ridiculous. But I guess we'll call it, man. There's not really much to go over when it comes to this. Thank you all for tuning in. And I think it was a fun episode.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I think it was. We should be getting back to 2-hour episodes pretty soon. Totally, I don't know what he's doing. He's doing something. Hang on. I'll just show you an image of what Tully's doing. He'll probably appreciate this. If I can find it. Let's see. Crackle. I can't get a good image of it. I don't want to blow the spot up too much, but I'll blow it up a little bit. So last time I seen Tully, this is what he looked like. I think he's doing something for the government. I'm not sure. I asked him if he needed any help or anything. He said, "Don't you step foot in there." I said, "Okay." I said, "All right. I don't know what you're doing, but I'll let you keep doing it."
Looks like it might have been Breaking Bad there.
He does have that Walter White feel. But he'll be back soon. I know he's still doing Cosmic Crumbs on Thursday nights, I'm pretty sure. So go over there and check that out on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern. Cosmic Crumbs. You can get there through Linktree / Cosmic Crumbs spelled with a 0. And you can go and get our merchandise by going to Linktree / Wearing the Folk and clicking the first link. If April 20th, the first episode Till Death Do Us Watch is supposed to drop. April 20th. I'm thinking about moving it because, yeah, it's a national holiday for people that like the herb, but it's also the birthday of one of the worst people in history. It's a day or a bad day. There's been some bad stuff. I don't know. It'll probably still come out April 20th. Crystal's holiday. But yeah, we'll probably still release something. I just don't know which movie to release, man. Because at first I was going to do don't go into the woods, but it's April 20th. I need to do something that pays homage to the holiday aspect of that. And we haven't recorded that one yet. So that's the reason I'm iffy on it, because if we're going to do it that day, then I need to record that and I need to get that edited. But I've got the other ones done. So,
you might have to find you a Bigfoot movie about the herb.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I overthink everything, Crystal. Totally says I'm retarded. Totally says I'm stupid, but I actually overthink everything. A little bit too much. Let's see. So I don't know. Do you have anything coming up?
No. Hopefully I can just lay around and do nothing for a day or so.
Oh, I wanted to this weekend, but I'm going to go watch Mark Norman tomorrow. He's a comedian.
Mark Norman. Okay.
Yeah. He's a funny guy. So we're going to go watch him tomorrow evening, and then I hope to do nothing the rest of the week.
Yeah.
But yeah, tune back in next week. We'll probably be back on probably 8 again next week. But we have the guest. What's the guest name for next Saturday? If that falls through?
If everything comes together and nothing comes up, where we have to reschedule, we're supposed to have MK Davis.
MK Davis.
He's a Bigfoot researcher. He's like I said before, he's been to the Lovelock Cave. He's been all over the country. He's really, really interesting guy. And he's from Mississippi. So
that'd be fun. I can't wait to speak with him.
Yeah, Morgana State. So
yeah.
MK's a good guy.
Yep. That'd be a fun one. Well, thank you all for tuning in. We hope to see y'all next week, and thank you for watching us, because we are all watching you.